to try and analyse some Shakespeare with you, specifically Ariel and their monologue in Act 4, Scene 1 of The Tempest. So, Ariel is a bit different to the rest of the fools we've looked at in this series. They are genderless, they are a sprite, and they repeatedly just tell everyone how they're not human. Ariel is under Prospero's control. The last witch on the island, who was Caliban's mother Sycorax, trapped Ariel in a tree, and no one wants that. And so when Prospero came and freed him, Ariel in return offered service, which they are now trapped in. Ariel actually points out as well that they've been working for Prospero longer than they were meant to, and that Prospero had promised they would release him by now, and then he just hasn't. So this is always this kind of awkward thing of whenever Ariel brings it up, Prospero's like, I'll trap you in a tree. And Ariel's like, okey-doke. So much like The Little Mermaid, Ariel's part in this story begins at sea. They create a tempest for Prospero, which gives the play its name and which also shipwrecks everyone on the island, and then Ariel sort of makes sure that no one dies, so this doesn't get all tragedy-ish, and everyone's sort of okay, but a little bit like, oh, we can't find each other and we're lost on a mysterious island, whatever will happen next. And what will happen next is that Prospero is basically going to have Ariel just mess with them. It's just a big revenge plot play, but in like a fun, friendly way. Ariel's always there kind of making sure nothing ever tips over into like the proper revenge plot tragedy. One is just like when Ariel sends the king and his man Gonzalo to sleep, the other two courtiers who are with them are just there like, well, this is a perfect opportunity for a murder plot, and are about to kill them, and then Ariel sort of steps in kind of comedically as they like draw their swords to wake up the king, and they're like, oh wow, yeah, we weren't about to kill you, we saw something, yeah, we were defending you. And the king's like, yeah, I totally believe that. So this monologue comes at another time when Ariel is foiling a murder plot. This time it's Caliban trying to convince Trinculo and Stefano to murder Prospero. So obviously Ariel's given Prospero a heads up, and Prospero's like, yeah, don't let them murder me. But realistically, no one's really meant to believe they ever had a solid chance of doing that, because they obviously got so drunk, because they're silly sods. And Ariel's like, yeah, they were really pissed, and I beat my tabour and guided them off into this really grim pond outside your room, and now they're up there to their chins, just sort of drunk and waiting. So they're just sort of been left waiting there while everyone else celebrates. So Prospero's currently celebrating that Ferdinand and Miranda have got together. Right before this monologue comes on, it's like, oh, actually no, now we should really deal with the fact that people are trying to murder you. And it's like, oh yeah, cool, yeah, I left them in the pond. Like, there's not super complex language stuff being used in this. Like, the main things are kind of just sound-wise. What Ariel does a lot is they will have the lines overflow in order to start each line with a similar sound. So for example, in this one you get for, toward, and you get at, advanced, as, all in like these lines of 3. Ariel also uses a lot of imagery that builds. You get so much of that in Shakespeare, but it sort of builds in 3s. So in the first monologue, for example, they talk about when they're causing the tempest, and it's like, now on the beak, now on the deck, in the cabin, in everything. It's like building, like he'll do these sets of images. So all of the monologue does this kind of image building. It starts with they smote the air and they beat the ground, and then Ariel beat the tabour. And then they pricked their ears, advanced their eyelids, lifted up their noses. So the overflowing sentences, the building images, they're all meant to get across this really kind of fast character who's moving on the air, who's hard to kind of grasp or pin down, who isn't really one thing at any time. They're not really a solid being, they're a sprite, and this is coming across in their language. It's coming across in that their language won't ever fit the strict form. So, guess we're gonna see what happens. Well, I told you, sir. They were red hot with drinking, so full of valour that they smote the air for breathing in their faces, and beat the ground for kissing of their feet, yet always bending towards their project. Then I beat my tabour, at which, like unback'd colts, they pricked their ears, advanced their eyelids, and lifted up their noses as they smelt music. So I charmed their ears, that calf-like they my lowing followed through toothed briers, sharp furzes, prickling goss, and thorns, which entered their frail shins. And at last I left them in the filthy-mantled pool beyond your cell, there, dancing up to the chins, until the foul lake stunk their feet.